How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole. Unfortunately, Jack is not here, so it's just Brad and Chibi, and today we're going to be talking about The Elusive Samurai. It is one of the new anime of the season. I think it's probably one of the best, and this one's dark, so if you happen to watch this, if you happen to be interested in watching this, just know that I understand that I believe the visual keys, or the key visuals for it look like it's very charming and very happy. It's not like just, there's a lot of gore here, so
be warned.
Be warned. So let's ask Brad, and let's do a brief summary because this is the second time we're recording this. By the way, we messed this up. Brad, what do you think? I mean, listen, we couldn't get anything. I'm blaming everybody.
Well, my backup recording was recording what you weren't recording. So, anyways, back to the beginning of this. It really lures you into a false sense of security, right? It's this charming kid being coached to, take over his family's legacy, even though his dad is a puppet. And
so weird.
He's like, what's so good about being a puppet king? Like, I don't I don't know if I want to do this. Well, it doesn't matter because everyone dies immediately. So, you're just like, wow, they're just kicking heads around and, playing sports with them and stuff. So yeah,
very stunning. I mean, like, you're not wrong. I think that it's such a fun anime when it, like, at the beginning, like, it seems like everything's peaceful, everyone's just having a really good time, and then they drop a ball, and I assume that's like from the future, right? Tokiyuki sees like he has like a vision, and then it's someone getting their head decapitated. And
Think about it like that.
Yeah. He has the vision, right?
That's fair. Yeah. But I don't know. For some reason, I just was like, oh, they just are giving me a heads up that something's about to happen.
Giving me a heads up. That's good. I like that. Yeah. I like that. Write that down.
Oh, shit.
Write that down, Brad.
Write that down. But, like, no, I mean, I think that's probably right. Like, I didn't even think about it like that.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because, like, he meets Suwa, right? Who, like, after he's running around the village and saying, like, how much it's a carefree, and he wants to see people happy and stuff like that. And when he runs into Suwa, and I believe it's not really his daughter. It's more like
it's like his assistant.
Yeah, it's his assistant. And then they're like, hey, man, you're going to be doing great things. And, like, Suwa is, as this crazy shrine priest, just like, I don't know if I could tell him, but, it sounds like he's making up a bunch of shit. Like, he's just on a bunch of psychedelics or opium or something, right? Because
he's like, let me turn down my aura real quick.
Yeah.
That shit was so funny. He goes, sorry, it's very bright.
It's too bright. And then because, like, to me, when anime, like, when I get hooked to a show, it's usually like the first episode has like that moment. And then in The Elusive Samurai, it's immediate when, like, they switch to Takaji. They make this guy seem out to be like this hero. Everything's like, peaceful. Shit's gonna work out right. The dad's a puppet. The brother seems to be a more competent, at almost everything than his brother. Like, he's just calm-headed. He really seems like he should be the heir, compared to Hojo. And it was like, and then it goes from that, and then you start to see people just get decapitated, slaughtered. You have this guy Takaji, like, sees like a vision of him being like, I'm gonna, like, pretty much take Japan and, like, remove, like, its existing government, and I'm gonna do all this other shit. And I was like, what is happening? Like, the entire time. And while this is happening, it's like you go into these, like, crazy visuals where we're talking about it just looks like an acid drop, right? Just like, people just getting decapitated all over the place, like, skewered heads. And then, like, you see the effect it has on Hojo as he's, like, going over the hill and he sees the entire village on fire, right? His entire area that he just saw, all these people, and people are just getting killed in the streets. Men, women, children, didn't matter. They're having decapitation contests. They have heads on swords. And then Suwa pushes him. He pushes him off the cliff. And then, like, he just
dies honorably as a samurai.
Yeah.
He's like, then die.
And then pushes him. And then I'm like, how? Like, listen. If you have, like, the gift of foresight, right? What if you're wrong? In that moment, like, what if you're wrong? And then they just say,
and he just dies. She just pushed a kid to his death.
As he hits the ground, it just, like, does the credit scene. It's like, this is the best anime ever.
It was a one shot.
Yeah, I didn't know it was only
one
gonna be
drop.
I know it's gonna be it's good. I know it's gonna be one episode, and then, like, it just shows him and his talent for, like, running away, his elusiveness, and then when he gets away with Suwa, and it's like, okay, well, now we're gonna kind of kick off with this adventure, but like it becomes even more tragic because you see what happens to his brother, who I honestly thought he was killed with his parents. But
Yeah.
like the way they went about like showing his like clan get slaughtered was probably the most messed up thing when they, in the beginning they showed that one girl talking to him, right? Like you're gonna marry me
Mm-hmm.
one day, that type of stuff. And then it's like they cut to like a text monologue, like this, this person was killed, and then the daughter was killed as well. I was like, jeez, did anyone like survive? Is this a
Survive.
happy
No.
anime? Like what the
Yeah.
fuck happened? Because
Where Kame got no
yeah,
kid.
yeah, because yeah, essentially yeah. Like the tonal shift seems so hardcore, like that hard veer that I expected this to be one of those historical fictions like Kingdom and you know, not like Golden Kamuy, which is it's bloody, but it's also very like don't watch that. That's super mature rated. There's some weird shit happening in that anime, but
Oh.
like it was kind of like Samurai Champloo, where like they were just kind of like they had these dark tonal shifts, and I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna work with this anime because you
Mm-hmm.
have nothing but like young teenagers, and then surprisingly it worked out. But like it's like 2 episodes in, you're seeing like his brother get decapitated. I didn't think they were going to show
Mm-hmm.
that part. Like they like mentioned it to him, like the young lord. I heard he like pleaded for his life,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they showed him like get decapitated, and I was like, oh, they weren't fucking
Oh
playing. I
shit.
thought there was
Yeah.
going to be like a happy
That was
ending
really sad.
here or
Yeah.
something, man.
Or, they were able to reconnect.
So
I was
yeah,
like,
something like it was just one of those things, and then like it just kind of I it's a character drama, right? It shows all like like his journey, and it's actually
mm-hmm.
it's probably one of the I can see people dropping it after the first episode, right? Because it got too dark, but
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to keep with it, and then before we had gotten cut off and restarted this, Brad talked about one of the episodes where they were shooting they were having games where they were shooting dogs, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was the point where I was like, Chibi, they're gonna kill those fucking dogs, and you're not gonna want to watch this anymore. By the way, was I tripping? Did one of the dogs talk to him? Like when they're on horseback? Was I tripping about that? Where he was like,
I don't remember.
he was trying to get points or
I,
whatever. Was I wrong about that? I thought I was losing my mind. I thought like he was like one of the dogs was like communicating with him.
I don't know if it
Wolf.
was. I don't know if it was the dog. It may have been like his inner monologue type of deal. Like it was like he was imagining the dog telling him that. That might be my. I want to say there was a moment like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I just think it's fascinating because like when I wanted you guys to watch this, my expectation was one of you is gonna drop it. Right now, that's not why Jack's
Yeah.
not here.
I
Okay,
was gonna say, oh,
that's not why
it's because
Jack's.
he's kicked from the show. That's why he's not here.
Hey
why
Jack,
would you
Brandon
say that?
is your
Jack?
replacement.
Jack, I love you. I just want you to know that. I don't agree with
So
that.
Chibi, when you watch this, like you don't have to go back into the previous recording type stuff, but like when
You're
you
fine.
watch this, like were you telling yourself like this is something I want to keep watching throughout the season, keep because like this season does have a lot of good animes,
Yeah.
does have good continuations, but like this is like one of the brand new ones. Like were you telling yourself like
Yeah.
you know
I mean, I honestly, yeah, I think I'll continue it. I didn't really have any issues with it. I mean, other than kind of what I said in the prior recording. Like usually gore and, you know, kind of graphic stuff isn't really my go-to or like where a lot of people die, but I do love seeing a character have to persevere through really difficult, trials and tribulations essentially. And I think, this based off of historical fiction too is really interesting because I'm a big history person, so I kind of like having that integration in it. But I mean, I honestly haven't been able to watch a lot of the animes other than like what we've talked about
mm.
just because of my schedule. So it was a nice recommendation, and I mean, despite the dog part, um I did enjoy it. I did think they did a good job with the tonal shifts, and I don't know, I enjoyed a lot of the different aspects of it.
yeah, it does pick itself up, but it is
Yeah.
unflinching in its violence still.
Oh,
Like
for
there's
sure, for
like
sure.
there's like moments where you're still like, okay, so we're past all the really graphic stuff, and then you see like, I think it was the 6th episode, right? I think where he like
Hmm.
starts, you know, they try to kill Takaji. They have like this, they have him surrounded. They have like all
Oh
these different
yeah.
clans gathered, and Takaji's like, dude, I just want to talk to the emperor. Like, don't do anything. And I was thinking like, oh well, he's probably gonna kill everyone here, and he does.
Hmm.
And it's like it's weird because in the moments where it gets uber graphic, where it comes out with like ultra violent moments, I was like,
Hmm.
it's kind of comical in a way, like it's skewed to the point where it feels like it's not real, like it's like this fever
Yeah.
pitch. But when you're watching it, like the reactions of other characters, like they're all stunned and shocked
Mm-hmm.
about what's happening. They're like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "There's like teeth and ears and noses on the
Mm-hmm.
fucking wall," and I'm like, "What is happening? This guy's unstoppable."
It's
Because
just
talk,
Guy's
he's
fucking
just
insane.
walking by, and then people are just like disintegrating, and
I
blood's
mean,
flying everywhere.
I mean, it's crazy because like you see how like Takaji's like just walking through, and he's you know pulling his sword out, heads are getting decapitated, and he's like talking
Mm-hmm.
calmly, like you don't want to do this. I just want to, I want a better Japan. Like I had this vision, and I think the way they kind of portray madness, like the characterization of it, right, is fucking fascinating because it comes off as like an
Mm-hmm.
eldritch horror.
Yeah.
When this show wants to get really serious, like the conversations shift. It's like you have characters who look like they're joke characters, like Sadamune, like with his big ass eyes. You're just like, oh, he's
Mm-hmm.
funny looking, and then you hear him talk to one of his guys, and it's like his voice deepens, his like he becomes more intimidating as a character.
Like his demeanor,
You're
yeah.
like that's weird, right? But it's like one of those moments where he shot that girl's part of that girl's ear off with the bow, right? The
Mm-hmm.
guy's like he's a I was like, what the fuck, man? This thing is like it doesn't. It feels like they're trying to take like really funny kind of like weird moments, but it's like, I always think of like maybe it's the way Hojo looks at it, right? Maybe it's the way the
Mm-hmm.
kids are seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like that's how they're kind of coping with like the trauma in front of them of this like
Mm-hmm.
ultra violent world.
Mm-hmm.
And I
He
just
really
like
looks like that.
yeah.
He's like, nope, it just
I
is.
mean, when that man gets close with his eye and his eyes touching your cheek, that's fucking terrifying, right? That part. I love how uncomfortable everyone is. Like, why is he so close to me when he's talking? And it always feels like his eye is talking and not his mouth and shit like that.
He's like, I see everything.
I see everything.
Ew.
But no, it's interesting also because like when he kills that group of people and like the citizens of Kyoto are like, oh, we still love you. Is that Lord Takachi? Like, come here, talk to us. Like, are y'all
Mhm.
fucking high? Like
Are
this
you
man.
idiots?
Are
Yeah.
we just
He just
walking
murdered.
past the dead bodies? Like, what's going on here? Like,
Yeah,
how is
we're
this?
just tunnel vision. Ignore it. They're like, yeah, maybe if we don't acknowledge it, it's not real.
Yeah, it's and like I've because of this and like because of the show, I've read the manga, right? I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to catch up, and there's some like it does the same thing in the manga where like it feels like it's just like, hey, we're happy, and then I'm like, that dude got his head sliced in half. Like, what the fuck are we doing
What
here?
do you mean?
Like, what's going on? Why is this person putting on like he's trying to make himself look pretty in battle as his whole people are being slaughtered because he wants to go out a certain way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's very twisted at times. But like the way they talk about madness, the way they show it, especially with Takaji, it's like the killer with the smile on his face, and then like the eldritch horror with all the eyes appearing on him. That part,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really cool because like it felt like the retainers that he had saw that too. They're like, I've served you, Lord, for so many. He's like, thank you, you know. And he turned, I was like, oh my. He's like not even looking at him. He's like looking down. I was like, and like I don't think Cloverworks has done an anime like this before because we talked before we got cut off. We had to restart. We had to restart.
Oh yeah, I'm
Um,
sorry. Ken, what other projects have they done?
Cloverworks, so many. Like
Yeah.
a lot of it's romantic. A lot they're mostly known for like a lot of romantic comedies, but they're also known for like Spy Family. I think they did the Promised Neverland season 1. I don't know if they did season 2. They should have done season 2 because season 2 was dog shit. But
That's what I've
yeah,
heard.
yeah, a lot of really good, funny, like romantic comedy. And then like the one time I saw them do something very dark was Wonder Egg Priority, which I wanted us
Mm-hmm.
to watch, but I felt like people would be frustrated at like the way it ends. But the way that starts is like a
I mean,
bunch of
it's
teenage
yeah, but it's
girls, chopping off arms and stuff like that. So,
yeah, but I mean, it's still a good anime. I mean, I would be
no,
down
beautiful.
eventually.
Love it. Anytime Cloverworks makes something, I'm always interested because like they always, they do a good job of like really kind of having like or at least like drawing or animating expressive eyes and stuff like that. Just like Sadamani,
Hmm.
like his eyes are fucking bulging out of his head. But what Brad, what did you think about, and who was your favorite character, but what did you think like overall about the gore? Did you think it was too much at times? You think it was like, the shift from going like to a happy moment to like someone getting like their fucking arm chopped off, head chopped off? Like, do you think it was like too excessive or over the top, or do you think it was just enough, like not enough
No,
to pull you away?
yeah, it wasn't. It was excessive, but it was in bursts, right? So like the scenes where people were just getting murdered, it wasn't half the episode. It was like within minutes. It was everyone was alive, everyone's dead. during the next scene. So I mean, I felt like the
Brad putting his
like
hands over his eyes.
We know what
no,
it's
yeah, I'm not big on just watching like
Suffering.
human, yeah, like human butchering.
suffering.
Like that's just not a thing that I care for. Um, like one of my all time least favorite scenes in anything is the Resident Evil laser hallway
Uh,
where that dude gets diced. That bothers me so much. I don't know what it is. It just every time it just
is it because it's random or because like it's just like like kind of a stark
Or you just
contrast
don't
to
like
what you're
human
seeing?
mutilation.
yeah. So
Oh,
it's
okay. So
like
you
that.
you don't watch
Yeah,
Saw.
yeah. No,
What
no.
a fucking
I
disappointment.
I watched the first Saw and I was like,
Bro, we played
never
the
again with them.
Outlast trials. We've seen more
That
fucked
shit
up
was
shit
Yeah.
than that, dude.
terrifying.
Well, you know,
This
I
has been
suppress it
Different.
now.
It's
Okay.
this
different
is I
though.
suppress it when we play. It's like
No, oh my god. Do you
I
think Brad would like the one anime? Have you ever seen Blood Sea or is it Blood Plus?
nope.
Where like
so
the
no.
monster fucking takes his hand and okay,
Yep.
never mind.
Nope.
Bloodsea has a moment. And I think it's probably its most
Is that where the
famous.
monster rips
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
like a
the girl in
wishbone.
half.
Yep.
But
Nope.
also my favorite part is
Yeah.
when he takes
Nope.
his hand like a blender and fucking
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope.
It
yeah.
Nope.
I mean that's
Sorry.
excessive,
Yeah.
right?
That was
Like
crazy.
just
That was
that like
crazy.
yeah that like just
But like the thing about those is that like
unnecessary.
it's unnecessary to the point where it's like it's just graphic. Like sometimes those
Yeah.
animes, like when they show expressions, like they're like it's like it goes from like a you have sharp features on the face, right? In most anime, and then like it gets sharper with like the lines down the cheek showcasing horror, and then them immediately getting diced in half or something. You're like Jesus. I think like with this one, it's more like
Yeah.
it felt the thing that I think that was like to me interesting was just like you would go from like I said when it's kind of psychedelic but like the how graphic it was when you see like a blade hit somebody in the neck and I'm like dude you don't see
Right.
that type of shit unless you're watching like an action anime or something like when we watched Sword of the Stranger right when a dude got his arm chopped off you
Yeah.
saw like the blade hit the hand and you saw like the flesh cut and the muscle and I was like that's fucking dark. I haven't seen something that's what I'm saying like I was when it happened it kind of blew me away. I was like, oh, I didn't expect that type of detail. I thought like, oh, off screen head chop, some blood, not teeth on the fucking wall,
Fucking ears.
not someone
Shit's
getting
Yeah.
like
crazy.
split in half and their intestines plopping out. Like it's kind of weird because like it's not like it's glorifying it. It's just showcasing you like the horror of it. You know?
Right. And like it's the like this like the single swipe of a sword, right, and someone's head falling off, right? Like to me, that's like a it's like a proper response. Like
Right.
it's something that I feel like should happen, right? It's not like complete body doesn't explode into a a pink mist and there's just like intestines flying everywhere. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
like
it's the
like
logic. It's the
Yeah.
logic.
it's the logic, but I think they did a good job of the kind of seriousness of like the situation, right? So
Yeah.
it's I don't, but once I don't know anything about
The-
ancient Japan or feudal Japan, so
right.
I don't if
This is essentially like the Warring States period. Like
if
every like
It's
yeah.
probably pretty fucking accurate.
yeah
Like
when
So
there's
that
some
was
gruesome
no
shit.
that's
that
that's
was
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
this is like historically all these characters existed. Like
right.
Yeah.
and I don't know
So
if
it's
but I don't know if he was that age is the thing. Like when they talk about the
Yeah.
the
yeah,
massacre of 1333, that happened. Like these people all
right.
got killed. This is just like a retelling of it, but in a
See,
way where it's like, it's like, hey, do you want to see heads on fucking swords? Like this is I'm like, what are we doing here?
but my question is like the whole like honor as a samurai type thing, right?
Mm,
So Ashikage,
which
is that
one?
hard to say that right?
Ashikage is
Ashik the the one that murdered everyone, the one that
oh
the one that just
Takaji. You can just call him Takaji.
Takoji. See, the last name, first name. I was saying his first name, not his last name. So Takoji. So like he betrayed the shogunate, right? He just like obliterated everyone.
Yeah.
Like, would that not like bring dishonor to like everything that he's around?
I think he was doing
Or
it.
or is the emperor just like just kill everyone, right? It's just like hey,
I think I mean he had like massive plans to like unify Japan. Like
right,
to move on from like the prefectural like area like cuz essentially it was like multiple states. Everyone had like their own like area and he was trying to unify it. And I think that that was like his purpose, but the thing was the way they're retelling it is like this you know, it could be seen as fun, especially with like, because, you know, you have these kids, these elusive samurai, like who are like, you know, uh, planning this rebellion to take back the country, or like to get revenge, and you know, and it's really interesting because like all of that is like, this is all that's what's happening. You know what I mean? It's just like the way they're telling it. And I've always, usually I have a problem with like historical fiction sometimes because I don't like when they twist it. But this is
Mhm.
all like somewhat accurate, and then like you're just
Mhm.
kind of getting a little bit over the top, and
Yeah.
having, it's kind of weird to have like Sua, you know, just kind of like that crazy priest
He's a
who's like,
god.
he's got that aura,
My
you know what
guy.
I mean? He's like, this
My
is what's
guy.
going fucking down, you know? Um,
He said, "Let me turn down the
yeah, let me
brightness."
turn down the brightness. Let me like, he has like, dude, also he probably would turn off a lot of people because of how he wants to get close to the things he says. I'm like, bro, that could be misconstrued here. Like you're kind of a creeper at times. Yeah, it could come off like
He's
that.
like, he
But
doesn't believe me.
yeah, he doesn't. I mean,
Gotta.
nope, brother, nobody would, because like one of the things I like is like the way Hojo Tokiyuki, like the way he like reacts to things is realistic, right? He's panicking, right? Um,
It's like,
and
this man is on
yeah,
opioids.
I really, that was one of the things I liked though, is like they really kind of showed like how he didn't believe it, but like, you know, kind of, you know, building up his rebellion, his character, and doing so, like it's like they're taking steps to get to that point. Um, so I thought that was like really well done. It's just like one of those things where, you know, I can see a lot of people being like, well, why don't you just tell it straight up? I think that's a good, if someone said that to me, like, why couldn't they just tell it straight up? Like, I think that's a good point, but you know, I think the way it was written was more like, not to be like Vinland Saga. Like Vinland Saga is very dark. It's a
Mhm.
very dark retelling of things. Like it feels like, you know, we're trying to be as accurate as possible. Something
Mhm.
with Elusive Samurai, it's like, yeah, we're kind of throwing like fun music, psychedelic visuals, but we're also kind of telling this really dark fucking story of like this
Mhm.
one person who tried to tear down Japan, and this kid who came up and tried to rebel against it and avenge his family and become a hero. Right? I just thought
Mhm.
that was like, you know, I mean, it I just think that when you see it, and I like to warn people, like it just gets into like these really shocking moments, but they're all animated so well. That's like the
Yeah.
part that I love. Like episode
Yeah.
2, when he kills his uncle who betrayed him, I was fucking amped, bro. I was like, cut his head off, dude. Do not
And
hesitaate.
Jim.
Yeah.
And
When they
Jim.
did the flashback and shows him betraying
Yeah.
his brother,
Oh,
and
dude.
he turned around and he had that like ghost face on,
Yeah.
dude, that gave me chills. I was like, that
Mhm.
guy's
That's what I'm
going to
saying. Like
die.
they did a really good job of showcasing. Like, I mean, obviously, because it's back in the 1300s. Like, it's like, who knows if like, you know, how it happened
Yeah.
that way. But to show them betraying a child, someone you look at after, and then like you were just jealous
Mhm.
the entire time. But it's really funny because when Suwa talks about people, it's like it feels like he's talking about them in the past tense. It's like, yeah, he becomes like this general, but he gets betrayed by everyone he knows because he's a dick. It's like, that makes sense. That makes
Yep.
a ton of sense. But like that episode, I was like, you know, when he was like running away, and then he was like, you know, Sue was like, don't help him, like he knows what he's doing. And then I think it's really funny because like Tokiyuki's kind of a psychopath, right? If you think about it, like he's getting like really amped up. He gets like flushed in the face because he's so excited from like getting chased. And I'm like, this kid's kind of weird. And then he decapitates him. I thought that was a really powerful moment because of like it was one of those things where I'm like, that is powerful storytelling to showcase like this kid who's fearful, wants revenge, never raised a sword, physically isn't strong enough, right? But can utilize like different means and techniques to do the things that he has to do. I was like, this is really well done. Um, I just feel like with some of the tonal shift stuff, right? Like at first I was like against it, but then like it kind of it eased itself down. Like I was kind of glad that it wasn't as extreme. I think you said that before, Brad. Whereas like we went from like an extreme, we're like, fuck yeah. Here's you are walking on flat ground. I've launched you into the air. And
Yeah, I mean, in the 6 episodes that I watched, there's really only two like just major like holy crap that like just obscenely just everyone's dying, in a grotesque way, uh, and uh, every 2 episodes, I don't know, that might be a bit much if you're watching like a full 24 episodes or something.
that would
I
be
don't know, maybe
heartbreaking, dude. Oh yeah. I
just
can't do this anymore.
just every city he goes into, everyone gets massacred every other episode.
It's like, all right, who's dying
What
today?
is
Who's
happening?
surviving
You're like
today?
throwing up like, ah.
uh,
Well, that was like
But yeah,
that was the complaint about Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, or like when they went to
Man,
Shibuya.
fuck that shit. Sorry.
Was like everyone
Sorry,
was
dude.
suffering and getting killed, and it was like just this sad like, are we gonna like
You
get a
are
happy moment where everyone
special.
daps each other up?
No, never. Never. I don't want to talk about that
always
show.
actually.
I just like the fact that like they built all the characters up, like they gave them backstories. They, I was like I was wondering like how the character development would go. Like how could you convince me that these young kids were gonna like lead this uprising, right? And it turns out that
Right.
he's charismatic. He has a lot of connections. Sue was fucking crazy, right? But he knows that it'll be like a
And
long
he's a
process,
god,
and he's a
so
god. Whatever.
Literally. My guy.
I just like the fact like it's just one of those like it took me by surprise. I did not
Yeah.
expect it to be as good as it is. And
Mhm.
then I kind of expected people to be like on the fence about it too. Like, is it too violent? But then it's like Brad said, after the first 2 episodes, the tone it's still like straddles itself with like dark stuff, like really grim. Obviously Takuji slaughtering an entire group of people in Kyoto, and everyone just like, I love you. It's like, what the fuck? But it
Very
just
funny.
continues like to do a really good job of telling I think a really good story in Chibi, because you like underdog stories. Here's your underdog story. Just got people getting decapitated every so often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like it doesn't feel unnecessarily kind of how you guys were saying, and I think that's where I can kind of justify watching it. Like with Attack on Titan, for example, I can't. I'm sorry, that's just my thing. Like it was just I couldn't
Well, I mean,
justify
yeah,
it.
AOT. I mean, it's getting a fucking an hour or
Oh,
3 hour
God,
movie or
let it
something like that.
die. Let it die.
That's what I said. I was like, why? I was like, we don't have to do this anymore.
There's no
Yeah.
reason. Sorry, I'm a hater, but I don't know. It's just this one, like it felt like it made sense because of like knowing how violent Japan's history has been. Like the shit that you read about, it's really
Feudal
messed up.
Japan is
It was
super
not a
fucking dark.
joke. It
I
was
mean,
sad. Yeah. This is
Japanese like
probably just
Japanese
yeah.
history,
Whew.
World War II, then previous to that,
Yeah.
super fucked up. I've written
Not
like
really
I've
that
written
good.
papers on it when I was a kid.
I've seen some stuff. I've read some
Um,
stuff, yes.
yeah, it's just interesting that like it got it's just told in this manner, because like the same thing with like
Mhm.
Golden Kamuy, like it's told like it seems like it's joking, but then you see a bear rip someone's face off, and you're like, what the fuck just
Mhm.
happened, dude? Like,
You're like,
why are we?
hold on.
We don't
Yeah.
have to do that. And I always feel like with historical fiction, you can always take it two ways. You either have like a serious drama, which happens to be like every like Korean interpretation of like their history, or
Mhm.
Chinese too. Chinese do
Oh
it all
yeah,
the time,
true.
or they're like Hero with Jet Li, where it's like, how come they're all like dancing in the air and with their swords and stuff? What's going on over here? I want Jet
What's
Li to kick
going
somebody.
on?
Why won't he kick someone? And then you get like this, where it's like it feels like I'm watching a play, and there's like this like there's an exaggeration to it, and I think like it's more entertaining that way. Like I believe you can capture a wider audience while also telling
Yeah.
facts, right? It's just like
Yeah.
I think
It's
like
just like an added element.
because it's interesting, because like I mean you essentially paint Takaji as like this madman,
Mhm.
right? Like this supervillain. And it really feels like the way they like I really like the fact that they made it seem like he was kind of like this impossible character to stop. How
Mhm.
can you stop someone who's an elite swordsman, looks like he's being backed by like some fucking by Cthulhu
Demon
or
or
some
some
shit?
shit. Yeah, Cthulhu.
like
Basically.
it's like an eldritch horror, right? Like I mean the
Yeah.
amount of eyes, and then he's just like he's getting attacked by an entire group in Kyoto, and he's catching swords with his hands. So it's like, how do you stop this fucking dude?
Mhm.
And then he has such charisma, because the dude has like a really
Very
soft face, right? He just looks like he's a really friendly
doesn't look
guy.
scary.
He just happens to be an absolute fucking demon with a sword.
Mhm.
So it's like, how do you stop that? And it's really interesting how they characterize him, because I really felt like for a second I was like, you know what, dude, like this guy would be probably one of the best villains of all time, because you have a character who like can smile and stab you in the back, but not just that, but kill an entire village without trying. So I think that's really cool. Do you guys have a favorite character? Brad, who is it, man? Is it Sua?
All of them.
All of them? That's what I'm talking
No,
about,
it
Brad.
was Kazuma or
The ninja?
Genba. Yeah, the thief.
I love
Genba.
The thief.
when he's
It's
like
good.
just when he's
Good
flashing
character.
everybody at the
No, it's just a cool story about his dad was like,
You're
never do
it.
anything.
Yeah.
Never do anything unless it benefits you. And then his life just gets flips upside down, and he's like, "Holy crap! There's actually other things than making money."
And he's super talented, like scary
Yeah.
talented. Yeah. That entire like when he was fighting those two by himself, I was like, holy shit, this kid is like legit terrifying as a fighter because he's using like scary ninjutsu. It was really good. I like that as well. GB?
I feel like y'all already know mine.
Suwa? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how
I
to
like
feel
the
about him.
out of
I like
pocket
him as a
characters.
character, but like I cannot. Like he's like he's so over the top and excessive
He's a little bit
It's
sometimes.
of a
so great. You
weirdo.
need that. You need that in this type of setting. I don't know. I always find those types of characters really funny and just entertaining. Like I love the outrageous ones. I mean, other than him, I really did like the main character, Hojo. Like I enjoyed
Yeah.
just seeing his, the struggle, the progression. Like I don't know, but
Yeah, he seems like a
we'll
really
do South
nice,
Park.
humble, reluctant kid.
Yeah.
He just happens to, have like an innate kind of like a superhuman talent.
Yeah, which was really cool to see, especially like Katsu. Sorry, he's like barking at me. He's not even being it's Katsu. Just especially highlighted, like in the beginning too. Like I think that the first episode really stuck out to me. Like I don't know, especially like when Suo pushed him off the cliff, like we kind of talked about earlier. Like just seeing him, basically bob and weave and survive was insane.
No, I mean like that was a really important part to his character as well because like we got to see like whether or not the playfulness could actually help him in battle, which I thought was actually a cool thing to see because you have him hopping around, escaping like fucking was it archery practice or something like that, fooling like his two guys his two retainers, and then he just gets pushed off a fucking cliff. And then he doesn't want to die. So like I love the fact that once again I'm like Sua, like how would you what if your foresight was wrong?
Yeah, like what if you're
like,
wrong? You just fucking push this kid to his death.
you killed that poor child, like but then then it's like an entirely different history, right? Um, I'm really interested, like to see, like I want to know. I don't know if it's 12 episodes. I don't know if it's 24. I want to know
So I
how
was
like
gonna ask, do you know how long it is?
now. I assume because of its popularity that it's going to get a second season. Like there's over 100 some odd chapters, and I think like I won't spoil anything, but like it does have like a lot of cool fight and stuff like that. A lot of cool like really dark moments too. Um, I think like the growth of the characters is something that I think is really interesting to watch. Like seeing like the Elusive Samurai and his team. I can't remember what they call themselves. It's like the Elusive Group or something like that. But to watch them grow
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
elusive something.
Yeah, to watch them grow as well is like something really interesting. And yeah, I think that I'm really curious to see like how the battles play out and if Cloverworks can kind of keep up with this like constant shift of like having these like psychedelic visuals and fights and stuff like that. Like where it reminded me a lot of like Berserk when Brad, have you seen Berserk before? I don't think no. There's a part where like the main character and his band of mercenaries they get transported to this other world and it has like this like really dark like violent shift in the story. And I was curious to see like if they do the same thing here because there are obviously as this is like historical fiction or historical it's gonna have like some battles, some events that are going to occur, and you're going to probably see some like really messed up shit. And I'm kind of curious to see like how they animate it because there's a lot of really cool moments upcoming. So if it's more than 12 episodes, that's that'd be great. 12 episodes is fine by me. I think maybe we'll get Jack back on here to actually talk about it. Hopefully I don't know if is there a
Slowly
dub?
but surely.
Anyone know if there's a dub for this?
I do not know. I usually
Lord,
watch
man, now I gotta pick
stuff.
out anime with dubs now for.
No, we just gotta read it to him. Like,
This
can
is
start
I have to
start voice acting.
Oh no, I can have Brad do it. Just have Brad read the
I need
script.
Brad to voice act. the
Anytime Brad
episodes.
streams, which is a rare event, he actually reads out the text. So I'm like, you know what, Brad can be that guy who's like sitting there and then making all the different voices and stuff
There
like
you
that.
go. Brad, give me your best main character Hojo impression as a kid.
No, please don't.
Hello, everybody.
So, that is horror. That's like Mr.
I like
Hanky,
never
bro.
mind.
Like what?
I like never mind. Don't do.
It's like never fucking mind.
Never mind. Never mind.
My whole family died. Oh no.
Oh no.
Sounds like the Muppets. Like I just imagine.
Oh
Brad
my!
as a
Oh my
Muppet.
God! He got killed. Oh no! Like Jesus.
Oh no.
Everybody dead.
It was interesting because like I didn't know if I like when I first was going through like my list of anime, I generally want to like watch like full seasons of stuff, and I wanted to watch
Mhm.
Vivi's Fluoride Eyes, which is one of my favorite like anime in the last like decade. And then I was like, oh, the Elusive Samurai is out, and I remember I went on it was on TikTok. They showed the clip
Mhm.
of him getting pushed off the cliff and all that stuff happening, and the way
Mhm.
the guy edited it was like so fucking well done. And I
Oh,
was
find it,
like,
send it to me.
they're probably not. I don't. I think I'd have to look it up and try to
Mhm.
find it. But the way they edited that scene where it goes from like
Mhm.
light that contrast was so well done. But I was like, I was reading the comments like, what the fuck did I just watch, dude? Like, what is going on? And I was
Yeah.
watching more reaction videos, and people were like, oh my god, this is so violent and dark, and
Mhm.
I don't know if I can keep up with it. And I really think like the first two episodes are probably like the point of where people have to realize like, yeah, the first episode is dark, but it's setting up the story.
Yeah.
It just does it in a way that I think that most anime that kind of tell that, or they showcase that tragedy in a different way. Like most times it's like you see someone getting crushed and they reach their hand out, right? Like
Yeah.
I had a criticism of like Attack on Titan when I was younger, and it was basically like if you go from the manga to the anime in the first episode when Grisha gets eaten, right? Or the mom
Mhm.
gets eaten, right? Basically, they don't showcase the mom getting eaten. They showcase a silhouette of it happening in the anime.
Mhm.
And a lot of people were upset because like, oh, you're censoring it. I'm like, I think that you have to do that to kind of like not push away viewers because it's really
Mhm.
bold of you to like just showcase uber violence and expect people to kind of stick around. When you get to later seasons, you can do that shit because you have that
Mhm.
audience with you. And then with the Elusive Samurai, Cloverworks was like, fuck that, we're showcasing everything in its raw, uncut form. And I was like, bold ass move because
Mhm.
you have I think there's like some type of nudity, but it's mostly characters being flipped upside down. They're pretty much blood being drained from their body and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of like things that don't get seen, I would say, generally in a lot of anime. Like you don't see kids getting killed. And if they do get killed, it's always off screen, right? Or they get crushed by something. You do not see them get their head cut off. You don't
Mhm.
see that type of stuff. They don't ever try to show it. But I was like, kudos to Cloverworks and kudos to like the whoever the distributor is to be like, we're showcasing all of it. We think it's
Mhm.
important for people to know about, see what happened. We're trying not to like shy away from the violence of it. For Brad, it deeply upset him. He had to go
And
take
he
a
had
walk.
nightmares.
He had to go take a walk. He had to pet his cat.
He had to go watch a Disney movie.
He's like, "Where's Wish? That's a new Disney film." I had to watch
Yes.
the Mario film so I could watch the star talk about dying again. I gotta feel. But yeah, no, I was like, man, I don't know if like anyone's gonna like this, and surprisingly, Brad liked it, which
Jax doesn't like it.
You got 2 out of 3. You got two out
I
of three
got to.
points.
Well, no, I mean, my whole thing with like new stuff is that like unless it has it's like a simulcast where it has like the dub immediately. It's
Mhm.
really hard to meet for me to convince Jack to be like, Jack, I need you to watch this, but it's gonna be really good for you. And he's like, I don't like to read, brother. And I'm like, all
I
right,
don't like
all right, I
that
understand.
vocabulary
That
alphabet
how
nonsense.
am I supposed to pay attention to the goddamn action in the goddamn show if I had to read these letters?
Okay,
And that's
well,
valid. It seems like we're trashing sub and dub right now. We are not. I just want to make that very clear. We're
oh my
not.
god,
But I just found
I
it funny
am.
because that was our conversation prior
Yeah.
to getting on. And when Jack gave us his reason, I was like, "Are you fucking serious right now?" I knew you would, because there's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of
Yeah,
talking.
there
Like there's a
is.
lot of information being pushed out to you. Um, but yeah, I was kind of curious, like as to whether or not you guys were like. I'm glad you guys did though.
hmm It was a good
I'll try.
recommendation.
I'll try to do
I was
like a.
apprehensive, man. I was apprehensive,
Which
but it
makes
wasn't bad.
sense. I was like, God, dude, if they killed they kill these fucking dogs, man, Chief gonna be so mad. I think
Done.
I
Episode
think I,
3 done.
I think Brad would have dropped it too.
I was like, well, it's just because
I
all
had
that
to
just
skip.
happened,
I
and
had
then
to skip.
it was like we're all entering the dog shooting contest, and I was like, excuse me, what?
Yeah. I was like,
Which,
God damn it,
by the
Ken. I
way,
knew you warned me though. You did
yeah.
warn me, so I
Which,
was
by
like,
the way,
motherfucker.
still cruel, right? Because they're shooting dogs with like whatever the I don't know what the tips are, but they're still shooting with the tips, and I'm assuming it still hurts the dog, right? It's still cruel, but they're not
Mhm.
killing them. So I guess there's like a silver lining somewhere.
There's no silver
Well,
goddamn
they train
lining.
these dogs to be
I swear,
to be
if
good
someone
that
watches
way.
this, like if they get to the comments, like, dude, if the dog was talking, to fucking Takayuki. Like, let
Let
me
us
know.
know.
I need
Let
to
us
know. I
know.
swear to God, like the dog was like, just shoot me. Like, we gotta get
Bro,
this
I'm
going.
about to rewatch the episode because I
I
watched
will
it like
say,
last week, so I didn't remember.
I will say the moment where he learned to turn around, that was pretty cool.
Fucking
Right?
dope, right?
When he was like, when he did it on the one foot and was like,
Well, I
I
mean, like
forgot I could do this.
it's interesting because like they Sua, like he knows that he's like got these talents, like, but they're all like really kind of obscure, right? Like you're a good archer, that's great, but you're not just a good archer. Like you can do like really awkward shit that no one else can do. Like it looks like like who thinks about that type of stuff, right? Because traditional archery, it's there's like certain mechanics you have to adhere to. Like he's like not doing that, so I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I was just curious to kind of see, and because usually it's like a lot of mainstream stuff. They when a lot of things are like generally popular, like Kaiju number 8, right? Everyone can enjoy it. I don't think there's a problem with it, right? I was waiting for Brad to do like a logic drop. Like, what's the logic drop here, Brad? You know what I mean? Do you have any? Because you were willing to drop it for like everything else except for Sonic. You didn't drop one for Sonic. Because you're like, I was like, it's a fucking cartoon. He's a blue echidna. He's like,
I don't. Yeah.
got nothing, right? There you go.
That guy shouldn't be able to see that well, right?
With his
Brother
bulging
man.
eyes. You imagine if they hit him so hard, like his eyes just pop out of his head? That would have been
Oh,
like brutal
God.
as hell. They could have done it
Ugh.
too. They could have done it. Chibi, if when looking at Takaji, like, what do you rank him in, like, in your villains? Like, because I have him high up there, just on aura alone.
Say, because I feel like I don't watch a lot of anime that have like very strong antagonists. So I would agree because I mean again I haven't watched a lot where they just fucking mass murder everyone. So and like you said he has like that charm and that charisma that really like makes sorry Katsu's about to start barking again, that makes him like not feel like innate like a villain like off the bat. So I think it really highlights him more as like a villain
Like the noble
when
call
you
too was like that's what I'm
yeah
saying. Like he maybe thinks he's like the hero, but
but
he's
he's not.
excusing the shit that he's done, right? That type of
Yeah.
those types of villains are like the worst. Like
Yeah,
they're like,
because
it's for the
they
greater good. It's
truly
like, dude, what is this
yeah.
fucking shot? What is this hot fuzz? Like
Yeah,
the
like they
greater
truly
good.
think it's for the greater good, but it's really who is it great for? You?
Yeah.
Like
Frieza, yeah.
Frieza?
Yeah, Frieza. Frieza kills billions, bro. Like this guy's got a long way to go. Brad,
Yeah.
what'd you
No,
think
but
of
for sure, I would say up there.
Brad? What'd you think of
Up
Takachi as a
right next
villain?
to Rachel.
Like the Tower of
Fuck her.
God.
I hate her.
I mean, like obviously they've given him this like super human ability to just dice up everyone that he comes within 6 feet of. But I really don't feel like they explore him, right? They show him right at the beginning when he's like, I'm gonna go fight this war for you, right? And then he goes to the war and then just murders everyone, and he comes back home and then murders everyone. And then you see him once more as he's trying to go talk to the emperor, and he just murders everyone again. So it's like, yeah, he's a smooth talking mass murderer. Got it. Cool.
I think it's the way they designed him, or the way they
Yeah.
like show him in episodes and like show his moments, where it's like there's a clear, it's the way they kind of twist the visuals a bit when they show him to
That
kind of
fucking scene where he was like
to kind of showcase just like he's not he's like one, he's the main antagonist, and two, he's not a character you want to fuck with or take lightly, right? Imagine being such a monster that you have the emperor's ear, right? That you gain an audience after killing all these people in Kyoto, right? That type of stuff like really sets him apart to me, because like usually, and like when he talks to people in private, you have a sense that like he really believes what he's saying, right? That like what he's doing seems terrible, right? It obviously is terrible, but like to him it's probably like, I'm doing it for the good of Japan, right? That type of shit. Like it doesn't seem like it's a selfish thing when you hear him speak. I love that about that character. Huh? Yeah,
he wants to be the emperor. He's not going to let anyone.
He wants to get that hat.
give me that hat.
Give me the hat.
Kills all of Japan.
That's what I want. Like my villains to be like. What are you killing those people? Give me the hat.
Give me the hat. I like that hat.
I want.
I like the hat.
I wanted the hat. That's it. End of movie. Well, I'm glad that everyone liked it. You know, it's unfortunate Jack couldn't be here. He would have said yeah anime or just stared blankly. You know.
Yeah, anime.
I like the anime sometimes.
Nailed that. Just
Who
saying.
who is that? That's what we could have done every time we go to Jack. Just clap, show his face.
Jack, what did you think about it?
What did it, Steve? See, hold on. She was talking shit about me and Brad. She's like, "I love you, Jack," and then she's talking trash about us. You know,
No,
she's
no,
as
I'm
bad,
not.
bro.
I'm not.
We got the footage.
No, Jack, I still love you. I agree with you.
We got the footage.
Sometimes.
So
Stop painting me as the villain.
who's next? Is it Brad or Jack? I think it's Jack, right? Because Brad, then you're afterwards. I think.
Sure, why not? Sounds great. Thanks.
So we're gonna try to whatever Jack chooses. I'm assuming he's actually gonna do his research next time. So
no,
we
he's
can
gonna do great. I believe in him.
Every time she says that, something goes wrong. He chooses
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
He chooses an anime that not all of us are like, what the fuck did I just watch, man?
Why did I just see titties in the first 5 seconds? Why
Bro,
she take her clothes off?
Yeah,
why
is she naked, Jack? He's like, I have I have refined taste.
Oh my god.
For the next Pixelate Thoughts episode, we're watching Uncharted. And then after that, I think it's on Hulu.
Give me your Hulu account. Give me that account.
I thought it was on Netflix. I think it's on Hulu. And then Brandon wants us to watch. He asked us. He's like, "Can you watch like like one of the earlier like Mortal Kombats and stuff?" I'm like, "I think I can."
Mortal Kombat.
I do want to watch like a really bad adaptation, but then Borderlands just came out and got fucking shitted on by everybody.
I saw, yeah.
What's it sitting at now, Brad? 10%? Rotten Tomatoes? You look it up.
It better not be. It better be like 6.
Is anyone like, let's be honest about this. When we saw Borderlands, and I wanted to slap Jack when he first said it too. I'm gonna give him a little shit because Jack was telling me and Brad, I think Borderlands might be good. I'm like, what are you watching that looks like it's gonna be good, man? Like,
I was gonna say I couldn't give enough feedback because I haven't played it, but just seeing the critiques, I'm like, I don't know why they thought this would be a good idea.
When they first started teasing it, right, when they did their first announcement trailer or whatever, I was like, I'm cautiously optimistic that they pull it off, right? And then they just kept showing more content, and I'm like, this is just not good. Like, this is just objectively bad.
And then the reviews came out, and it was like, this is not a good film in the slightest. Like, it's just boring. And I was like, dude, we were on such a roll of like either you were average or good.
Yeah, we said that too. I remember.
And like even Uncharted, from like, oh look, I'm not the biggest fan of that film, but it's way better than fucking Borderlands from what I've seen. Like,
I mean, even when the CEO of Gearbox is like, guys, please give it a chance,
and he's banning people. He was like banning people on Twitter who were like major content creators for Borderlands, like the commute, like people in the community who are fucking like making content still for those games today. Like he banned some of them because they were saying like they were being like objectively critical about the film. Like saying like, dude, it just wasn't a good movie. Like you made really questionable choices. You had like I saw I had to find the TikTok, but it was really funny because they were doing like quotes on Borderlands and people were like, that's not what they said in the movie. And then the very next like video was like those like things he was making fun of, like the way it was delivered, like the quotes, they were being said and like by the actors. And I was like, what the fuck? How did we get here? How did we get here?
How did we get so wrong?
How did we fall apart so quickly? Because I'm not saying it had potential, but like I just watched Furiosa, like a Mad Max saga, and I fucking adore that film. That film was amazing. I love George Miller. And the Mad Max movies, I'm like, dude, you could have made Borderlands just like that, but you just kind of lean a little bit more into the craziness, you know?
Yeah.
And they botched it.
Cast like 40, 50-year-olds for like 20-year-olds.
like I said, I love God, who played Lilith? I can't remember her name. Kate Blanchett. I love Kate Blanchett. Fantastic actress. Why are you Lilith? She's like 20 in the games, and you're like, you're 50. What are we doing? Yeah, Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is Roland.
Big names, but like that's not how you do it. Like
Roland was twice as tall.
Yeah, Kevin Hart is playing himself, but with a gun. I get it. Like,
I think they were just trying to get big names, but they just went about it so wrong.
no, it's 100%. That's exactly how they did it. And like it's
Yeah.
the same thing when I see like a live action anime adaptation. They'll get like big names to do things, and like they'll just completely butcher the story. I'm like, dude, some things are just better animated. Some things are just better as a TV series. You know, not Halo, of course, because they fucking botched that too. But there's like certain things that you can like. You don't have to deviate too hard from the source material because maybe the source material is great already. But Borderlands is not known for the story, you know what I mean? But it's supposed to be crazy. There's a character named Shooty McShootface, and his quest that he gives you is to shoot him in the fucking face. That's the quest, and he says thank you as he dies. You know?
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
you get experience.
And you get experience. It's a very fun quest. But yeah, like hearing Brandon ask for us to watch like the older movies, I'm like, dude, a lot of them are not. They did not age well. Like
they aged even better.
They aged. Instead of Mortal Kombat, we should watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation and really hate ourselves. They couldn't even bring back the actor who played Johnny Cage. That's how bad it was. Like,
no, dude. Street Fighter. We need to watch Street Fighter.
Which one? The one with Kristen Crick as Chun-Li? Because that one was brutal. That one killed. So, have you guys watched American Pie? Anybody?
No.
So Chris Klein, he plays a jock in the in American Pie in the film and stuff like that, and like his character is like really soft spoken and sweet and stuff like that. So in Street Fighter, he plays Nash, and Nash is like this really big character in the Street Fighter universe, but like his acting in it is so bad. I thought I was watching a Sci-Fi Channel movie, and that is even disrespectful to Sci-Fi Channel films. So I, you know what I mean? That's how they took it, right? So, all right. So we got Jack's gonna have the next anime one, so it's gonna be a bit, and then we'll do Uncharted, and then in September we're probably gonna like maybe record one or two because I'm going on vacation for like a week. So
damn, all right.
It's gonna be.
I'm going on vacation in October, so
must be nice.
We can move on. We can do stuff without you, Brad.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's valid.
And then once October hits, we have a bunch of games that we're gonna try to play together. Brad wants to play Avatar together. Like we'll probably play that after I'm done doing like Black Myth Wukong.
Oh yeah, October 31st. I'll be playing Dragon Age. See y'all later.
Yeah.
I'm like I have like.
I'm ready to see.
I'm cautiously optimistic about.
I'm going in blind because I didn't like the teaser they dropped, but then I watched the gameplay and I was like, gameplay actually looked pretty good. But the one teaser I saw, I was like, I'm not digging this. But I think I gotta play it. I just gotta play all.
I just gotta restart and play through all of them first. So when this one comes out, I can just be really, really angry that it's not the old games.
And critical. There you go. That's how you do it. That's how you be critical in real life, right? You hate a fucking game. New game comes out, you play the original and then shit on these people who really hate it and said they made this soulless recreation. That's how we do it.
Oh.
Closing thoughts. It's gonna be a shorter episode, thank God. Chibi, you got anything for the Elusive Samurai or any anime you want to suggest while we're here?
Give Elusive Samurai a try. Just be prepared for gore, but it is a great watch.
Shocking moments. Brad, what do we got? That's enough of that shit. So, we want to thank everyone for watching and listening wherever you are. This has been Pixelated Thoughts, and we'll talk to you guys next time.